When you hear a show tune from the great white way, does a shiver run through ya? Well, we're giving them to ya. Sing hallelujah and shout hooray. Come on along and listen to Broadway to Main Street. USA.
A Fiddler on the Roof, arranged by a German jazz musician. Sounds crazy, no? But here in our little village of Broadway to Main Street, everything is a little crazy. Hello, this is Larry Maslon, your host for Self-Same Show here on 88.3 WLIW-FM, Long Island's only signature, one-of-a-kind, arranged NPR station. Well, that, of course, was the music of Fiddler on the Roof, Jerry Bach, eventually lyrics by Sheldon Harnick, but it is arranged by a guy named Claus Ogerman, O-G-E-R-M-A-N, and I have been fascinated by this guy for 4 decades, and I thought I'd share his work with you, A, because it's amazing, B, because there's a lot of Broadway in it, and C, I think it's about time that you all spend 54 minutes listening to an arranger. What does an arranger do? Well, he or she or they create charts. They figure out what orchestrations go with songs, how the singer influences that, where they come in, where they go out, how to make the music sound different, original, amazing, and that's what he did, pretty much from 1959 through the second half of the 20th century. He was born in Poland in 1930 and grew up in Germany in the late 30s into the 40s. His dad owned a photo shop, which eventually enlarged and had a record store, and he listened to all this American jazz stuff, Tommy Dorsey and Sinatra and all those folks growing up in the 30s and 40s, and came to New York in 1959 to become an arranger. And his sound and his take was so original that he was immediately snapped up by all the major record labels to do work for their singers or their or their orchestras or whatever. In the late 50s, early 60s, it was quite common for there to be kind of background music for your hi-fi. You could mix cocktails or dance or, just sort of hang out. Easy listening, I guess you'd call it, although that has a somewhat pejorative term. But Klaus Ogerman turned even easy listening into something very special. Here are two early albums of his, and a song we'll begin with by Rodgers and Hart. That was the Joker from Roar, the Grease Paint Smell of the Crowd. And he does his own take on that. Well, he eventually worked at Verve Records with a great producer named Creed Taylor, and he was instrumental, no pun intended, in making the bossa nova craze of the early 60s kind of palatable and interesting and complex for American audiences. And among the artists he worked with was João Gilberto on an album called Amoroso. And here we'll hear a little Gershwin tune, swung as only João and Klaus Ogerman can.
Wonderful, marvelous, you should care for me, awfully nice, it's paradise, how I long to be, you make my life so glamorous, you can bring me for feeling amorous, wonderful, marvelous, that you should care for me, wonderful, marvelous, you should care for me, awfully nice, it's paradise, how I long to be, you make my life so glamorous, you can bring me for feeling amorous, wonderful, marvelous, that you should care for me. Wonderful, marvelous, you should care for me, awfully nice, it's paradise, how I long to be, you make my life so glamorous, you can bring me for feeling amorous, wonderful, marvelous,
Wow, nothing swinging about that. That is quite profound. That is Sabbath Prayer, of course, from Fiddler on the Roof, arranged by Claus Ogerman. He did a whole album in 1964 of songs from Fiddler on the Roof. Wow, that really brings out so many qualities in Jerry Bach's music. Well, it wasn't long before singers, of course, took to him. He orchestrated stuff for Benny King, Betty Carter, Leslie Gore. He arranged It's My Party, that great, great hit single for Leslie Gore. And someone like Sammy Davis Jr. was not going to ignore his sound. And when Sammy was doing Golden Boy on Broadway, Reprise, which was his new label, put out a record called Sammy's Back on Broadway. Why wouldn't they? And they got Claus Ogerman to write all the arrangements for this album, and they are just superb. Here are two songs you may think you know, but you certainly don't know them in the hands of these two gentlemen. The first is Take the Moment from Do I Hear a Waltz, Richard Rodgers and Stephen Sondheim, done in this really majestic version and sung by Sammy.
Take the moment, let it happen. Hug the moment, make it last. Hold the feeling for will have passed. All the noises buzzing in your head, warning you to wait. What for? Take the moment, make the moment many moments more. Make for us 1,000 more. Make that moment many moments more. Make for us 1,000 more. I wanna be with you. After all nights of wanting you, lying there loving you, hating you tonight, I'm touching you, holding you. Well, you're gonna see, we'll make out somehow. Here's my girl and me. They can't hurt us now. We're gonna have it all. I'll love you every day. Honey, life could be so great for us. Here's our chance. It's not too late for us. Grab it fast, or life won't wait for us. I wanna be with you. I wanna be with you. Grab it fast, or life won't wait for us. I wanna be with you. Oh, I wanna be with you. I wanna be with you.
Well, that's I Want to Be With You, sung as this heart-wrenching duet in the show Golden Boy, but done in such a beautiful, lighthearted, you can sort of feel the breeze going by, version by Klaus Ogerman. Well, this is Larry Maslon, your host for Broadway to Main Street, and today we're looking at a music arranger, a guy who did such amazing stuff with the Broadway songbook of the 1960s into the 70s. As I mentioned, he was instrumental in making the bossa nova work for American audiences, and he worked with Antonio Carlos Tam, Jobim. He orchestrated and arranged Wave, a great recording, and Frank Sinatra was very interested in Jobim and brought Klaus Ogerman along with him to the recording studio. And they were a match made in heaven. This album, Francis Albert Sinatra and Antonio's Carlos Jobim, is a desert island disc for many people, myself included, from 1967. And there are a couple of Broadway adjacent songs drafted in because there wasn't enough good Jobim in English for Frank to record. So here is the Broadway adjacent Cole Porter, I Concentrate on You.
Whenever skies look gray to me and trouble begins to brew, whenever the winter winds become too strong, I concentrate on you. Fortune cries nay, nay to me. Jing, 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 jing. People declare you're through. Whenever the blues become my only song, concentrate on you. On your smile, so sweet, so tender. When at first my kiss you do decline, on the light in your eyes when you surrender, and once again arms intertwine. So when wise men say to me that love's young dream never comes true, ding, 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 to prove that even the wise men can be wrong, I concentrate on you. Bubbles, bangles, hear how they jing-jing-a-ling-a. Bubbles, bangles, bright shiny beads. Sparkles, spangles, her heart will sing, sing-a-ling-a. Wearing baubles, bangles and beads. She'll glitter and gleam so, make somebody dream so, that someday I may buy her a ring, ring-a-ling-a. I've heard that's where it leads, wearing baubles, bangles and beads. She'll glitter and gleam so, make somebody dream so, that someday I may buy her a ring, ring-a-ling-a. I have heard that's where it leads, wearing baubles, bangles all those noisy bangles and beads.
Baubles, Bangles, and Beads, brilliantly brought together by Claus, Ogerman, Sinatra, and Jobim. That's from Kismet, of course. Well, Ogerman was, in the late 60s, just kind of churning them out. I think he was doing arrangements for like an album, every 2 weeks or something like that. And he glommed onto the score by John Kander and Fred Ebb to Zorba in 1969. And for Capitol, he arranged the whole score in his own inimitable fashion. Here is the opening number, Life Is. Ah, such a gentle, interesting take. That's Why Can't I Speak from the score to Zorba. Well, sometimes, listeners out there, you may say, how deep can he go? How esoteric and off the charts and out of the box can Maslon go on Broadway to Main Street? And we may have hit our pinnacle today. This is for you, Bill Cox, out there. Here is a song from a show called Mata Hari, which closed out of town. Edward Thomas and Marty Sharnin wrote the lyrics, and Klaus Ogerman arranged it for Arthur Prysock. How about that? Wow. Great song called Maman.
I am safe, Mama. I am fine. We are deep, Mama, at the line. There are sounds, Mama, of the war. Rifles crack, Mama, cannons roar. I have fear, Mama, I'm afraid, not of bombs, Mama, nor grenades. There's a voice, Mama, I can't steal, and it says, Mama, can you kill? And it says, Mama, can you kill? It is cold, Mama, and it's black with a dawn, Mama. Yes, we're attacked. There's a hill, Mama, we must take. Can you tell, Mama, that I shake? I may die, Mama. Yes, I may die. This may be, Mama, my last goodbye. It is time, Mama. There's the sun. Will I fight, Mama? Or will I run? He was young, Mama. He was small. I was trapped, Mama, by the wall. Then he lunged, Mama, and I spun. Face to face, Mama, oh, gun to gun. Then and there, Mama, I could see he was me, Mama. Yes, he was me. Just a boy, Mama, and not a man. Can I kill, Mama? Oh, yes, I can. Can I kill, Mama? Yes, I can.
Sometimes your eyes look blue to me, although I know they're really green. I seem to see you differently, changing as I'm treated kindly or treated meanly. From moment to moment, you're two different people. Faithful and warm when I'm in your arms, and then when you leave, you're so untrue. But however you are, deep down, whatever you are, whoever you are, I love you. Sometimes I feel you're mine alone, and yet I'm sure it's just not so. I get this feeling on my own after I learn if you're staying or if you're going. From moment to moment, you're two different people. Someone I know as the girl I love, or the girl I wish I never knew. But however you are, deep down, whatever you are, whoever you are, I love you. Sometimes your eyes look blue to me.
Well, that was our runner-up for Esoterica. That was Gordon McRae, and an arrangement by Ogerman, of course, from Promises, Promises. He didn't do it quite enough Bacharach for my taste. They would have been a match made in heaven. Well, in the 70s, he decided to write his own music. He wrote a lot of interesting classical stuff, arranged it for various albums, international albums, and so on and so forth. And it was kind of in semi-retirement, but Diana Krall brought him back into the studio for 2 albums in the 21st century. One, 2009, Look of Love. Well, there's Bacharach. And here's a great Lerner and Lowe song from her Quiet Nights album from 2011.
Accustomed to his face, he almost makes the day begin. I've grown accustomed to the tune he whistles night and noon. His smiles, his frowns, his ups, his downs are second nature to me now. breathing in. I was serenely independent and content before we met. Surely I could always be that way again, and yet I've grown accustomed to his looks, accustomed to his voice, accustomed to his face. I've grown accustomed to his face. He almost makes the day begin. I've gotten used to hear him say good morning every day. His joys, his woes, his highs, his lows are second nature to me now. Like breathing out, breathing in. I'm very glad he's a man, and so easy to forget, rather like a habit one can always break. And yet I've grown accustomed to the trace of something in the air, accustomed to his face.
Well, thanks for, obliging me for 54 minutes of Claus Ogerman. I hope that inspires you to go out and listen to his stuff, or go to our website, broadwaytomainstreet.com, which has been revised, and you can listen to all of our stuff. I mentioned he became a composer. He always was a composer, but he recorded more as a composer in the 70s and beyond. Here is Barbra Streisand from the classical Barbra album, a song called I Loved You, lyrics by Pushkin, the great Russian poet, and music and played by Claus Ogerman and Barbra Streisand. So what a great way to end our session with this amazing guy. I hope you check out more of his music. And of course, we hope to see you next Sunday on Broadway to Main Street.
Still too much, but forget this love that pressed sadly against your will. without hope but true, jealous, afraid. I pray that someone may love you again, the same
Well, where is the time all gone to? This is Larry Maslon here at Broadway to Main Street. Let's catch up next Sunday at 3.
There's so much more embracing still to be done, but time is racing. Oh, well, we'll catch up some other time.